When it comes to manga power fantasies, most of them follow a similar formula. The first chapter starts with some loser who somehow gains a superhuman ability or power. This is usually done through reincarnation or just pure dumb luck. Once the protagonist gains their power, all the stakes are basically removed, and the protagonist will go on to defeat the demon lord or something like that. But once in a blue moon, these tropes will be subverted, and you will come across a truly good manga. The first of these is Fire Punch. The story of Fire Punch is about a man with insanely powerful regeneration abilities. Although this may seem pretty beneficial, this power will result in the destruction of any normal life the protagonist could have ever had. Taking place in a post-apocalyptic world, Fire Punch is an extremely dark and violent story. In the world Fire Punch is set in, it is permanently winter, and there is no food to go around. The brother and sister duo, Agni and Luna, had the misfortune of being in a village with almost no food. Because the siblings have regeneration abilities, the villagers use them as a food source. Agni and Luna do this willingly, but it soon becomes evident that Agni's regeneration is significantly more powerful than Luna's. When the siblings are a bit older, a strange group of people show up to their village. These people learn that the villagers are practicing cannibalism, and they begin to destroy the village. One of these invaders, Doma, has the ability to create fire that can never be extinguished. This fire comes in contact with Agni and Luna, and Agni is forced to watch his sister burn to death. Because of his regeneration abilities, Agni is constantly burning and incapable of dying. His only goal now is to find and kill Doma. There is a lot more to this story than what I've told you, but I can't really go into more details without spoiling stuff. Despite the hyper-violent nature of this manga, the story is very philosophical, and although it can be a bit slow at parts, I would highly recommend that you check it out. But what if you don't want to read a thought-provoking story? Well, if you'd like to read a more chill power fantasy, I'd recommend giving I'm a Spider, So What a try. This story is about a girl named Komako who suddenly wakes up in the body of a spider. She is not just a normal spider though, as she has magical abilities. Komako isn't the only one who has magical abilities in this world though. Many other creatures and monsters possess strong skills, and quite a few of them want to kill our arachnid protagonist. Unlike a lot of other power fantasy stories, a large emphasis is placed on the hard work the protagonist has to do in order to survive. An absurdly large amount of time is spent focusing on the grind, which will probably either attract or repel readers. Personally, I really appreciate this, and coupled with the commentary on humanity and terrible humor, this manga is a stellar read. Before we continue, I have a bit of a confession to make. I probably titled this video Unique Power Fantasy Manga You Should Read, or something like that, but this next entry, it isn't exactly a manga. It is a manhwa, or a Korean comic. That aside, the next entry is titled Omniscient Reader, or Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. This story is about an average white-collar worker who has been following a web novel for almost a decade. One day, after over 3,000 chapters, the web novel ends, and our protagonist, Kim Dokja, receives a copy of the story from the author. Shortly after this, the events of the novel begin to play out in the real world. This story is all about watching the protagonist smash the reader's and his peers' expectations. Because the protagonist knows what is going to happen, he is able to make decisions that may seem inconsequential or even foolish at first, but are revealed to be game-changing later on. Over time, Dokja is able to gain skills and meet up with the characters from the story he read. Not everything goes smoothly for our protagonist though. Although he knows the general events and characters that happen in the web novel, Kim Dokja is changing the events in his world so that they are dissimilar from the events in the web novel. This leads to many mishaps and makes life very complicated for Kim Dokja. Well, that does it for today's video. I know the manga and manhwa I talked about were mildly popular as opposed to mostly unknown, but I hope you were able to get at least one or two good recommendations. I know that a lot of people also don't really consider Fire Punch to be a power fantasy due to its dark and violent nature, but it's still a pretty good story, and you should check it out regardless. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more recommendations and manga-related content. Later, gamers.